What is up, bros? Me, Josh here, and in today's video, I'm going to go over some captain builds for the IJN Destroyer line that will hopefully help you out with picking some right captain skills ever since the 0.6 captain rehaul. So there's going to be three major builds I go over, maybe four, and there's going to be one build for the majority of the line. If you guys didn't know, there was just a recent split. This is turned more of a gunboat destroyer line. This is kind of stuck with the torpedo main IGN Destroyer line. So I'm going to go over one build that's going to cover the majority of the line, and then I'm going to go over a couple other builds that are kind of specialized ships. The Akizuki is completely different than all the other destroyers in this line. And the Shiratsuyu is a little different, kind of has a special ability that I think should really be highlighted. So they're going to be a little different line, different captain loadouts that I would run for those ships specifically. So I'm going to kind of go over all those. The first main build is going to cover almost the entirety of the destroyer line because hadn't really played this line yet. This line is all focused around stealth and torps. Stealth and torps. It does have good guns, which I do like to help out as much as I can. But the highlight of these destroyers are the guns. Now, like I said, the Akizuki is a bit of a wild card. But this is kind of the main build I would run for almost all the destroyers in this line. And it's very, very, very simple. One thing you're trying to highlight the torpedoes and your survivability, but remembering that the guns are all right, so I enjoy this. So this is the build I highly recommend. This is with a 17-point captain as well. Priority target, it's good to know, especially if you do pop up and you are detected or are going against some destroyers or other ships. You want to know how many ships are focused on you. This could give you a lot of information with other gunboat DDs maybe, or how many destroyers are just in the general area. 2, mandatory, pick last stand. Don't be that destroyer that doesn't have last stand. You're just easy pickings, and you really, really need this. Be sure to grab this first. After this, I like torpedo armament expertise, especially when you're playing something like the Shimakaze, the Fubuki, something that is really focused on its destroyer or its torpedoes doing the majority of its damage. Now, it's not doing all the damage, but those are the highlights of these ships. So you definitely want to do that. As you saw, I grabbed Survivability Expert, but that's going to be much later. And then the first 4-point Captain skill I'd pick up is Concealment Expert, Stealth and Torps. That's this line. Stealth and Torps, so you want to get those as fast as possible. Now, with this, I actually picked up AFT. The Destroyer line the IGN Destroyer line has really good guns. They just don't shoot very fast, but when they hit like trucks. You know, you're going to be dropping 2-3K salvos on other destroyers, with a decently long reload, but don't be afraid to use your guns. Let's say you're a Shimakaze going into gearing and the gearing only has 3K life and you're spotted. Don't be afraid to shoot your guns, even if he has 7 or 8K, especially if you're in smoke and you hit let's say a battleship with a torpedo and you cause flooding and can repair that. Don't be afraid to use your guns. Your guns are super, super strong. Especially a lot of these destroyers can actually stealth fire if you have Concealment Expert and AFT. So something to keep in mind, something to learn as you play these lines, is to play through this line too, is learning the distance you can actually stealth fire. So definitely some values to look at, but I like AFT. After that, I went and picked up Survivability Expert. This is just going to help you live longer. You're going to spend the majority of your time not really detected that much. So Survivability Expert isn't like as important as, like, let's say a gunboat DD, but I do like to have it. And then with my 18th and 19-point captain, I would go back and pick up Adrenaline Rush. I really enjoy Adrenaline Rush on a lot of my ship builds right now. Basically, if you do ever get exposed and you take a couple hits and you go down to 50% life, it's going to give you that much more of a quicker reload on your torpedoes and your guns. So definitely nice. This is the basic build I really, really enjoy. Now, I've seen some people get kind of aggressive and go with radiolocation. This will just help you not only offensively, but mainly defensively as well. Because you are going to lose most of those fights going against destroyers that are gunboat destroyers, let's say USN, just because they can shoot faster than you and just pump out more DPS than you. But let's say you're going in, all of a sudden you switch to a destroyer or switch over to a ship that you didn't even know was there. It's probably going to be a destroyer, so it's going to let you know, maybe I should then roll to the left side instead of the right side if I know I can spot something there. So I have seen some people roll this instead. It's a bit more of a cautious build. Also, this really helps torpedoing into smoke or a general direction. You can actually snipe some people. Kind of a gamble and kind of safe for me. I just like the guaranteed thing of AFT. Just pumping out more damage with the guns. More fire, especially if you do hit the torpedoes, you're going to be able to pump out, let's say if you start a fire after somebody repairs a flood. I really like this build. Other than that, I mean, you could maybe grab Superintendent, but I like these two over. I mean, this is saying I'm going to live longer, and this is saying I'm going to do more damage over time. So I like that. Superintendent's okay. I don't think anything else is really worth grabbing. Yeah, this is the basic build. Like I said, I would grab Adrenaline Rush once I get the 18th and 19th point captain. So, two other destroyers that are really kind of specific is the Shiratsuyu and the Akizuki, the tier 7 and tier 8. So let's dive into a quick Shiratsuyu build that I think would really help, and it kind of shows off what this ship has. So if you guys have ever heard me say the Wombo combo or anything like that, it comes from this ship. Now this ship has a little extra tool called the Torpedo Reload Booster 2. And what this does is it reduces the reload time of torpedo tubes to 5 seconds. No matter what it is, it reduces it down to 5 seconds, which is amazing. And what you can do is you can launch your 2 sets of torpedoes, hit that consumable, and then no matter what the reload time is, it goes down to 5 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and boom, you can launch 2 more sets of torpedoes. It can set 16 torpedoes out on one little area. So, kind of the main thing I'm talking about on this, and this is the Shiratsuyu, the tier 7, is this is my build for it. As you can see, I changed it a little bit. This is a 16-point captain. I picked up Adrenaline Rush. One thing you could do is pick up with the 19-point captain, as I'm not going survivability expert on this. I'm going with the extra superintendent, so I want to get that extra charge. Now, I'm not rushing to grab that skill, because with just a premium version of this, you can get 3, and with a 240-second reload, 3 puts you at about 12 minutes. The normal game lasts between, 10 to 15 minutes or so, but there are those games that do go longer, and you do want that extra one, especially since you are going to be using that consumable almost right away in the game. So you kind of want that to, be able to use 4. 3 is good, but you want to be able to use 4 if possible. So Superintendent's definitely worth picking up on this, or any other ships that have this consumable. It's worth picking up, and this is kind of just wanted to highlight this ship. This is a very popular ship. It's going to be very popular in the rank season this season. It's super stealthy, also with the same kind of build. It's almost identical as the last build, so I'm not really diving into it too much, but it can stealth fire at a relatively low short range at 9.6, so it's really dangerous. I like this kind of playstyle of not only being strong with torps, but also being strong with guns. So just want to show this is a situation where Superintendent is really good on specific boats like this. I have a specific captain for this ship only, and it's right now it's at 16 points. So at 19 points, I would grab Superintendent just to have that extra torpedo reload. Now the third and final set of builds I'm going to go over is based around the Akizuki. This is the new tier 8 gunboat DD, and this is really the wild horse, the wild card of the IJN DD line. The DD line is known for its torps, and this ship is really known for its guns. As you can see right here, there has 8 shells going out at one time with a 3-second reload. That's a really scary ship. Relatively low fire chance, but it's shooting so fast, and the AP on this ship is actually really good. And there's a few builds I would go with. Right now, my captain's kind of in the process of being built into a run. So let's switch over to the ship Comrade captain skill calculator, and I'll show you guys kind of the builds I would recommend going through this ship, and what skills you could kind of switch out for others to make it a bit stronger for your playstyle. So this is the first build I would run on the Akizuki, and kind of the one I would recommend just for a basic build. What this is showing off, if you're looking at these skills, is I want to be as stealthy as possible, I want to shoot as far as I can, I want to shoot as fast as I can. And one thing about basic firing training too is this ship has actually really good AA, so something just to keep in mind. BFT isn't only used for its main battery. I think you can get this thing up to like 70 something AA. It's absolutely insane. It's actually, you can run an AA build, and I'll briefly show that build, but it's kind of a little troll. But this is a really good build. Priority target, picking up last stand first, then picking up BFT. You want to focus the guns, so you want to help with the guns as much as possible. This is going to drop it down to 2.7 reload, which is absolutely nuts. Picking up Concealment Expert at 4, then going back and picking up AFT. You want to get that range. And then for me, since you are going to be spotted a decent amount because you're kind of a gun-heavy ship, it's up to you right here. Me, I like Survivability Expert or Superintendent. Superintendent's going to give you the extra smoke, so you can stay as stealthy as possible. Survivability Expert, I like having that extra bit of life, because you are going to get in some gun battles, and you are a very long and slow ship for a destroyer. So if you are able to, you want to be able to survive as many things as possible, going against a Benson, a Fletcher, a Tashkent, you want to be able to survive those little fights. And what's going to be able to do that is Survivability Expert. Although an extra smoke is nice, I like having the for sure thing of a little bit higher health pool. And then going back and picking up Adrenaline Rush, this is just going to get better as you go through the game. You are going to take damage since you are a gunboat destroyer, and you're really going to be able to just kind of keep pumping out damage more and more as you are taking more and more damage. So this is a really, really basic build. As you can see, I got away from torpedo armament because with this ship, you only get one single set of 4 torps, but you do have the torpedo reload consumable just like the Shiratsuyu did. So Superintendent does kind of get some extra little bit right there, but you're kind of just focused all around the gun. So you're picking up BFT and AFT, and you kind of want to know that you're a survivor. This is kind of almost similar to, like, let's say, a Benson build at the same tier. So really basic build. There's also some other builds that would work for you and are a bit different, but also a lot of fun. So with the introduction of inertia fuse, which has really gotten popular on a lot of ships, this also works on this ship. And so as you can see, I dropped BFT and I dropped Survivability Expert for inertia fuse. Now, they are very, very small caliber guns on this ship, so your alpha damage tends to be relatively low when shooting HE, almost non-existent. I mean, you're going to do damage for sure, but almost non-existent. So what is this showing? This is really showing that your HE damage is going to do a lot more. If you're playing this ship, AP is going to be the bread and butter of you doing your lots of damage. But with this, you're just going to be able to keep pumping out HE. So with the fire, you're going to be at 5% because you're at 6% normally. You lose 3% here. So that's why you kind of offset it with Demo Expert. That's why you switch Demo Expert from BFT. So you're going to be pumping out more alpha damage from your HE shells. And you want Demo Expert to kind of offset the fire chance. So with this, though, you do lose Adrenaline Rush, you do lose an extra bit of life, so you have to be a bit more cautious, but you're still sticking with the main gun loadout of the Concealment Expert, AFT, and Inertia. Inertia is one of the last things I would pick up. It actually would be the last out of all these. I would go Priority Target, Last Stand, Demo Expert, Concealment, AFT. That's just a solid build right there anyways. And then Inertia Fuse at 18. So it does take a while, a high-level captain, to get to this point, but this is a viable build that would definitely work. Not my favorite build. This is my favorite ship. I like a lot of other destroyers. I feel like the ship just doesn't really match my playstyle. But Inertia Fuse does work because you can just consistently pump out higher damage HE salvos at 3 seconds a salvo. So pretty nasty. Could definitely be a super threatening ship, and you have to be really, really careful if you're in range of one of these guys, because one, they're super sneaky, they're almost impossible to find, and they're just going to rain down hell from you. If you've ever played against an Akizuki, it's like a constant stream. It's like an Atlanta, basically, just where you can't see it. It's kind of annoying. But this is also another build just showing off the Inertia Fuse ability on the ship, and could definitely be used. Now, last build is a bit more troll, but could definitely help you survive against a CV a bit better. For the third and final build, this is a very specialized build, kind of the same build I run on my Fletcher. I run an AA build on my Fletcher. Everything's spotted for using AA and everything like that. And this is kind of the AA build for the Akizuki. Now, this thing can get insanely strong AA. It's unbelievable the AA you can get on this. It's basically an Atlanta on a tier 7 destroyer. Or tier 8 destroyer, I apologize. And so with this build, you're taking Priority Target, Last Stand. Those are, I think, the easiest things to take. You're taking BFT, which is going to increase not only your main guns, but but your AA. Then you're going to pick up Concealment Expert, the normal kind of setup. For me, I'd probably go AFT first, because it does take a while to get 4 points, and you just want an overall better basic build. And then at 18 points, picking up manual fire control for AA. Yes, it sounds weird, but you're going to be able to pump out so much AA. You're going to be absolutely shredding planes with this thing. I would say almost impossible, because you are a long, slow-turning ship that a good CV is going to kind of target you if it ever finds you. So what you're going to do is basically you're just going to punish the living hell out of a CV trying to do anything near you. Same thing if you ever played an AA Benson or an AA Fletcher. You can actually get the AA ratings pretty high, and it's almost impossible to drop on you. Now, this thing doesn't have the AA consumable that the USN line has, but you're going to be able to still pump out a lot of AA and just shred planes that are getting close to you. Definitely going to help you stay alive a bit longer, and could easily, if you're divisioning with the CV, could really help with the CV as well. And who knows, maybe get a clear sky medal with this thing. I'm not even sure. But and then at 19, I just said pick up preventive maintenance. That's the same thing I do with the other build that I had 1 extra point. But this is kind of a really, really specialized build, more of a troll build. if you were seeing a lot of CVs and you just kind of wanted to mess with them a little bit as you're playing the ship. This ship is so different from the entire rest of the line that it just has a lot of options to play it. It doesn't really follow that. I have torpedoes, I have decent guns, so let's focus on that. This you can really focus on. Okay, I want to do more alpha damage with this. I want to run an AA build. I want to do just a normal kind of build. This can really mold itself around how you want to play it. But guys, that is it. Those are my builds for the IJN DDs. Hope this really helps you guys out. If you guys are running a build different than mine, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you want to maybe see another ship or another line for some extra builds. So that is it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Remember, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.